I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are on Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Inuit, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 41st Nation and Treaty 3 territory. I'd like to introduce the members of the panel today, the secretary to the board and the assessor. To my left is Mr. Larry Robinson. On Zoom with us, the fellow with the mustache is Mr. Richard Whitbread. We have Arka Adarkanov, I hope I pronounced that correctly, who is the assessor from the city of Winnipeg. And we have Fran Piquito as our administrative personnel today. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Pardon me. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. Pardon me, I'm going to have a sip here. My apologies. The matters for which revision is requested has been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparison of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by council and is independent of it and the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 1 through 9 on our docket today. Ms. Piquito, could you please swear in or affirm the first applicant?
Should we do the assessor first?
Yes, please.
Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Arka Adarkanov.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm.
Thank you. The applicant for 406 Redwood Avenue. Is that? Oh, sorry.
If he's online,
Yes. My apologies.
no problem.
Mr. Nguyen, please state your full name.
Oh,
Sorry,
he's on mute.
you're on mute.
Vin Din Nguyen.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will start with having the assessor present his evidence in terms of 406 Redwood Unit 1, please.
Oh, good afternoon. So for the first property on the docket, roll number 14100130745. Street address is 406 Redwood Avenue, and it is located in a neighborhood of William White with a code 302. It's a two-story row house built in 2017 with the same year effective age. It has 4,448 square feet of living area, full basement and the basement finish. Well, for the bath count, we have 12 full baths and 4 half baths. It has central air conditioner. When it comes to fireplaces, attached, detached garages, in-ground pools or sunrooms, there is no such thing. And I guess there is no such amenities listed for the 4 comparables that I have presented as well. Lot size is 7,264 square feet, and land influences are bus route, commercial adjacent, external corner, and the medium traffic. 2025 assessment roll is for $803,000, which calculated to be $180.53 per square foot. About the subject property, it's a 4-unit row house. Each unit is a 3-bedroom. The bathroom split is as follows. Each of the 4 units has 3 full baths and 1 half bath. The 4 comparables I have presented are comparable number 1, 160 Furby Street, located in West Broadway. It's a 2-story 4-plex, built in 2021. It's 3,830 square feet of living area, and it has a surface foundation, so there is no basement. And because it doesn't have basement, there is no basement finish either. It has central air conditioner and 4,106 square feet of for lot size. It is also a 3-bedroom. There's 4 units, and each unit is a 3-bedroom. Unlike subject property, it only has 1 full bath per unit. This property sold in June of 2022 for $1,055,000. Time adjusted to April 1st, 2023 is $965,300. And all of the time adjustments will be to April 1st, 2023, so I wouldn't have to repeat it for the other comparables. So a comparable 2 is 256 Balmoral Street in West Broadway neighborhood. It's a 3-story 4-plex built in 2021, same year effective age. Living area 3,467 square feet. This property is also on a surface foundation, so there is no basement. It has 4 full baths, and it has central air conditioner. Lot size 2,996 square feet. For land influences, it has commercial adjacent. It sold in September of 2021 for $830,000. Time adjusted would be $811,700. For a unit split, so it's a 4-plex, so it has 4 units. It has 2 2-bedroom units and 2 1-bedroom units. And a total of 4 bathrooms, so each unit gets 1 bathroom. Comparable 3 is 602 Elgin Avenue in Centennial neighborhood. Now, this property is a bi-level. It's a fourplex. It's built in 2018. Living area, 2,728 square feet. It has a full basement and it has a basement finish and 4 full bathrooms and a central air conditioner. Lot size 5,249 square feet, and it has a commercial influence. It sold in August of 2021 for $810,000. Time adjusted would be $797,800. Now, this property is bi-level, so 2 units would be above grade and 2 units would be in a half of the basement. It's a 4 bedroom, I guess 4 units, and each unit is 4 bedrooms, and each unit only gets 1 bathroom. Comparable floor is 407 Sherbrooke Street in Spence area. It's a 2-story row house built in 2016. Again, 4 units, each unit is 4 bedroom. Living area is 3,744 square feet. It has a full basement and a basement finish. 4 full bathrooms and 4 half bathrooms, and no central air conditioner. Assessed lot size 3,919 square feet. For land influences, we get bus route, commercial adjacent, and heavy traffic. This property sold in May of 2021 for $777,000. Time adjusted would be $783,200. Again, it's a four-unit property with 4 bedrooms, and each unit gets 1 full bathroom and 1 half bathroom. For the when comparing the subject property to those four comparables, subject property appears to be larger in square feet in living area for than any of the comparables. It also has more bathrooms, so units appear to be more have more conveniences, more amenities, and larger lot size, larger building, and $803,000 for 2025 assessment roll would be supported. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, do you have any questions of the assessor? Perhaps you didn't hear me, Mr. Nugent. Do you have any questions of the assessor?
No, I don't have any questions. I just would like to make a correction on the amount of full baths for 406 Redwood. It's actually 10 and half baths is 4. So it's just a slight mistake there.
I'm sorry, we just had an ambulance go by, so I couldn't quite hear you. Did you say you'd like to make a correction that it's 10 and a half baths as opposed to 12 baths?
No, there was only 10 full baths and 4 halves.
Okay. Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Question I would ask is, can you explain a little bit about the lot size and the impact on the value, sir? This lot is quite significantly larger than the other lots that you've chosen.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
typically larger lots have higher value. People pay a bit more for larger lots. You have more elbow room, so to speak. You can do more. And in this case, because all of the properties are infill, you were able to build larger property on a larger lot.
Is that partially because it's an external corner lot too, that is larger? And I can't really tell by the maps.
Yeah, the map is very small. It is
Yeah.
a corner lot, so it's on the corner of Salter and Redwood.
Mhm.
Like the history of it, like why is it larger? I cannot tell you exactly right now whether there was a replat done at some point where 1 or 2 lots were combined together. I haven't looked into that. Like right now, I just reporting what we have on record. It's 7,264 square foot lot.
Yeah, which is a large lot comparatively speaking, compared to your comparables.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm good for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread. Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions for the assessor?
Yes, just one quick question. You couldn't find any comparables in the William White area at all that compared with this property? It seems that they're all pretty far away.
Yes. William White area does have quite a few infills, but not enough sales to not enough good comparables. So we have to look at sales in the area. There are older
Okay.
properties that were available in that area, and I believe that's what applicant provided two comparables. They're older. They're not 2017 built. They are much older. One is, I believe, is 1960s, and another one is 1933. That's what applicant provided. And I also saw some older comparables, but I believe that older comparables would not provide good comparison as a need for maintenance and renovation affects the value. So to compare apples with apples, I chose properties with that are similar age.
Okay, because they are all infill properties, right? These are all infill
Yes.
buildings. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. I noticed that there are multiple land influences on this property as well. And I'm wondering if you could tell me how that would impact the assessment.
Well, okay, so because it is part of residential, I guess, portfolio, bus routes, commercial adjacents, external corners, and medium traffic usually actually provide a negative effect on the valuation. So model treats them as a negative impact to value and applies necessary adjustment according to that. This property is also not just a not a owner-occupied residential property, but typically would be rental property. So adjacency to bus route, typically when it comes to that, like it's kind of like now you have to look at it in a spectrum of like, is a bus route closer to a rental property? Is it a good thing? Typically it is.
Thank you. I'm also wondering, taking a look at the comparisons that you have selected here, I see that the time adjusted sale price for each of these properties, with the exception of the last one, have gone down from the sale price. And the
Yes.
last one, I see that it's gone up from the sale price. Can you maybe elaborate on that a little bit?
Absolutely. So what we see is we've seen a trend of prices going up in value up until summer of 2021. And then because of factors in financial markets, interest rates, it did affect the rise of increase of prices and the from summer of 2021 first up until April 1st, 2023, prices typically were going down. So if you bought your property before, let's say in this particular case, it was May 2021, you would still pay lower price based on lower interest rates. You would still pay the lower price and the interest rates was lower. And then the market, when the interest rates got corrected, the market overall slowed down and we saw a dip. So whatever was purchased before summer of 2021 typically would have a upward adjustment on time adjustments, and after that the model corrects it to the downwards.
Okay, can you tell me, have you had the opportunity to visit this property?
I have not.
And can you tell me where you obtained the information about how many full and half baths there are on this property?
Okay, that information came from the property information we have on record as well as plans.
Okay, thank you very much. I have no further questions. Mr. Applicant, would you like to make your presentation now?
Yes. So the panel has already mentioned that the comparables brought forward by the assessor is in different areas. So my property in question is in the 4A area, which everybody knows is the worst area you can have any type of property, especially a rental in. If anything, it's gone down in value, and it was purchased prior to right around the 2020 mark. So at that time, it was purchased for 750,000, but with higher interest rates right now, for the first three comparables, the price has gone down, except for comparable 4, which you mentioned that the price has gone up a little. So based on just the area itself is my main the 2025 assessment has an increase of almost 6% on this property, and I feel like that is just a little bit too much. I would be hard pressed to be able to sell this property right now for 750 for what was paid for it. Right now, because it's in the 4A area, there's lots of problems, especially with tenants. There's 2 tenants right now that are their accounts are delinquent, in the process of possibly evicting them. I'm not sure how long that will take, but the only comparables in the 4A area were the ones that I sent, even though they are older, but they're more realistic for the area. I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mr. Assessor, do you have any questions of the applicant?
Well, just I guess quick question. So you did say that it's a bit too much to sell right now, right? But not on the reference date. Is that correct?
I don't think I understand your question fully. Like, if somebody were to purchase it for what we paid for it, we would sell it right away.
But then again, it is right now, right? Not on the reference date.
The reference date is, sorry, which date is that?
It's April 1st, 2023.
Even then, yes, we would have sold it for that. I think the last time I made an appeal on this, I told the last adjuster that we would sell it for what we would try and break even if possible, because it is in the 4A area. It's been nothing but a headache, and I guess we got caught up in the buying bubble and trying to invest, and we did get lucky and secure a low interest rate, but that's coming up for renewal, so I don't know what we're gonna do.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I do not.
Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions?
I heard you mention the number 750,000. What are you wanting this property to be valued at, sir?
Either what we paid or a little bit less, to be honest with you.
Give me a number if you don't
Because of
mind.
the area, like there's a building that's been in the process of being demolished right behind there. It's an eyesore, and we haven't looked into it yet, but they took down our fence, and I don't know who I should contact for that, because they like the rubble that's been sitting there has been sitting there for over 2 years now.
What
So
number would you like to ask for?
I would like possibly 700.
Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not saying I agree with you. I'm saying I'm just asking for your sense. Okay, I have no further questions, ma'am.
Thank you. And my questions have been asked and answered, so I thank you very much, Mr. Applicant, and we will move on to the next item on the docket, please. We
Thank
will
you.
get back to you as soon as possible with written confirmation of our decision.
Thank you.
Mr. Assessor,
Yes.
Let's call the applicant for 736 Toronto Street. It's.
yes, could you please affirm?
Yes, Mr. Applicant, please stand. Please state your full name.
Antonabra,
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yeah, I confirm it's true.
Thank you. Please
Thank
be
you.
seated.
Mr. Assessor, could you please take us through your assessment of the property?
Sure. Okay. So item number 2 on the docket, property located at 736 Toronto Street. Roll number is 1404. Sorry, I'll start over. Roll number is 1304 0022 000. Located in Daniel McIntyre area. It's a one-story side-by-side, built in 1966, and with effective year built of 1976. It has a full basement and a basement finish. 4 full bathrooms, 1 half bathroom, and a shower we have on record for bathrooms. It does not have central air conditioner, 0 fireplaces, no in-ground pool, no sunroom, and no garages. Lot size 4,635 square feet, and the 2025 assessment roll is $381,000. Subject property sold in October of 2022 for $400,000. So this property is a side-by-side. So it has 2 units, Unit A and Unit B. Unit A has 3 bedrooms and Unit B has 2 bedrooms. As far as how bathroom mix is split in there, I do not have that information. So the total number of bathrooms is 4 full bathrooms, 1 half bathroom, and 1 shower stall, but I do not have information as to which unit has how many bathrooms. Next, the 4 comparables are comparable number 1, 973 Pritchard Avenue in Borough Central neighborhood. It's a one-story side-by-side built in 1967 and effective age of 1972, 1,584 square feet and a full basement. It has 2 full bathrooms, 2 half bathrooms, and 2 showers, no central air conditioner, and absence of any other amenities such as fireplace, garages, and ground pool and sunrooms. Lot size 4,220 square feet. Property sold in June of 2022 for $437,000, and it is time adjusted. Sale price to April 1st, 2023 is $399,900. Comparable number 2 is 280 Sergeant Tommy Prince Street in Borough Central area. And it's one-story side-by-side built in 1960, same year effective age. 1,312 square feet, full basement and no basement finish, 2 full baths. And a single detached garage and the central air conditioner. And it doesn't have anything else on the list. So lot size 2,999 square feet. Planned influences are bus route, bus stop, external corner, and light traffic. This property sold in March of 2022 for $301,000. Time adjusted sale price is $281,700. Okay, comparable number 2 has following split. 2 one-bedroom units. I didn't mention it on comparable now, so I'll go back to it. Comparable one is 2 two-bedroom units. Comparable number 3, located in 1240 Burroughs Avenue in Shagassy Park area, is a one-story side-by-side built in 1959 with the same year effective age, 1,800 square feet of living area, full basement and a basement finish, 2 full bathrooms and 1 half bathroom, and it has a multiple detached garage. Lot size 6,580 square feet. Land influences are bus route, bus stop, external corner, hydro lines, and the medium traffic. This property sold in November of 2021 for $395,000. Time adjusted would be $380,800. Comparable number 4 is the subject property itself. And that property sold in October of 2022 for $400,000, and time adjusted value would be $380,800. Subject property's 2025 assessment is $381,000, which is its time adjusted sale price. And I'm open to your questions.
Prior to taking any questions on this property, I know I have been advised some late evidence has been presented to us.
Yes.
So I think that we're going to have to take a brief recess to see if we will consider the late evidence. So that means that we're going to shut down the proceedings for a minute, just so that the board members can talk. And we're gonna have to ask the applicants to leave the room it'll just take a few minutes for us to do that. Thank you for your patience, and the committee has decided that we will hear your evidence, even though it was submitted late, but it was about 4.5 hours late, so.
Yeah, that was my mistake on the part, yes, thank you for that.
We will hear it, and so then I will now turn it over to you, Mr. Applicant. I don't know if you've got any questions of the assessor and the presentation that he made.
Yeah, I do have like some things, to just bring to the attention of the assessor. So, the reason I'm here is not like, to challenge like, whatever the decision is made, but like, I just wanted to confess on my part, like the mistakes we did, like as the father of 3, and then like me and my wife as a first home-time buyers. So when we buy this property.
Just 1 second before you continue. Right now, we're asking questions of the assessor.
Yes.
But if you have a presentation to make, you'll get an opportunity to do that.
So what I'm asking like the assessor right now is, so when we took over this unit, like back in 2021, and then after 1 year, so it was a 2 years assessment, like every 2 years there is an assessment. So the property value raised to 330,000. And initially, like we were used to pay like 2,967 in terms of property tax, and which is 285 like in terms of monthly payments for the property tax. And then this property raised to 330. And then we asked her like at that time the assessors, and then we asked why the property is raised. And then they told us like there was like a renovation done on the property. And then, okay, so we said like this was the first time like home buyer experience, we don't know much about the house. And then as we move on, we experience a lot of things. And then what happened is this property value with the same condition and everything just raised to 381,000.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to elaborate on that in a minute. But right now, I think that we've got some other board members that would like to ask questions of the assessor before we move on to your presentation, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions for the assessor?
Arca, did you visit this property?
No, I did not.
So you have not, you can't describe the condition of the property, hey?
Let me see. Believe I probably wouldn't be a best person to ask about the condition, no. But it was an MLS sale, so it was sold on MLS. And as far as a bit of condition, like I can read you stuff from MLS. So it has updated furnace, hot water tank. I guess it was freshly painted. It has 2 self-contained units. Some updates have taken place. So it has updated end suit. Those are the items I see on the MLS listing right now. So yeah, there are some updates. It's not it would and the updates would include what did I say? Updated end suit, a hot water tank, furnace, and I guess some painting. Those are the items that I see on MLS listings.
On the MLS?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that would move it from 66 to 76, I suppose.
Yes, that's probably where it came from. Mhm.
Okay. No, I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread. Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Just one quick one. I'm guessing your best comparable to the subject one is comparable 4, which is the other side of the side by side.
Well, it is a comparable for it, and subject is the same property.
Correct. So that's the best. The best.
Yeah, and the subject
comparable
sale is subject sale typically is the best comparable.
And they are exactly identical, right? There's no difference between the two. They both have.
It's the same property.
Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, I just have a couple of questions and one is with regards to the effective year built and the upgrades, would a replacing a furnace be considered an upgrade or is that just basic maintenance?
Actually, furnace is one of the. It's not a basic maintenance. No, furnace is an upgrade. It adds life to the building.
Same with the hot water tank?
Absolutely.
Okay, can you tell me, I was looking at the current market value here. Oh, no, I think that question has been asked and answered. Thank you. I will turn it over to the applicant now to make his presentation. Oh, Mr. Whitbread?
Madam Chair, may I clarify something?
Certainly.
Okay, Mr. Robinson, when you talked about the comparable 4,
Yes.
I think you suggested that was unit 2. Is that what you were suggesting?
Yes, or B or whatever. That's what I was suggesting.
Okay, and I
They were
think
sold-
it's not unit 2, is it, Arka?
No, it's not unit 2. It's 2 units under one roll.
Right,
So because this subject property sold had a 2022 sale, I used it as comparable 4 to show specifics on how that would look like, how subject property would look like against itself, right? So it sold in October of 2022 for $400,000, and
Kind of
time adjusted
redundant.
value is $380,800. Yeah.
kind of redundant, isn't it?
Well, that's what I was thinking.
But it
Yeah.
is the same property, just to clarify. You're
It is
using
the same property.
property as a comparison.
Yes.
Because of the subject sale in 2020.
Correct.
But
Okay,
there's
2022.
unit 1 and 2. This is not unit 2 as comparable.
no, it is not.
No.
Unit 1,
It's-
okay, sorry, Mr. Robinson, just want to.
That's okay.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you for the clarifications.
Okay,
And now I will turn it over to the applicant to make his presentation, please.
Okay, so one of the concerns we have is like the property was not physically viewed and the status and the conditions of the property is not well inspected. When we buy the house, because of like, we don't have experience like as a first time home buyers, So we offer like, that high price, but when we end up and we take over and we started to live in the unit, there was a lot of issues. So the evidence I submitted is like the same realtor who advised us like to buy that property is like assessing the values, and we presented for her. And then there was a lot of discussions also happening like with our lawyers, like when we buy this property, because the original seller, like there was lots of fraudulent things about the house and the unit. So after all those things, the current assessment value, like she's one of the top 5 sellers for her realtor group, and she submitted this like after assessing the units, and she knows very well like the in and out since we buy the property back in 2022, and then now again like the condition. And the other thing is also like there were some issues like going on, like still like with the like in terms of like the court proceedings. So whatever like the original seller presented like probably as part of their renovations was not true. So part of the thing was like what he mentioned is like the upgrade, like as part of the renovation, like for the furnace was not true. So it was an old furnace. In the time we take over the unit, the furnace breakdown, and we have the evidence. We bought $7,980 an additional cost after we built the house, like to just put a new furnace, because the old furnace is blocked by Manitoba Hydro. It's no longer healthy to run this furnace, and then we have to change the furnace. And there are a lot of things I can bring like to the boards, like just for the sake of time, we advise like anybody to come like physically and inspect the condition of the house. So like I saw like on the letter like things like windows and whatever, like which is part of the renovation, which the first seller before he sells the house like for us is done, but like there was no assessor like from the city side and coming and checking whether those inspections were done up to the standard. So all those things are like failed apart, and now currently we requested like I think probably like 7 or 8 months before, we requested Efficiency Manitoba to come and then inspect the units, because me and my kids and my wife like she just gave birth, and then she's spending much of her time like in the house. Like she was really suffering from the cold, and it's too hot like during the summer. So literally like one of the unit is not like livable. Like we have to like abandon it, because in the winter we cannot barely just withstand the cold. So the team is coming there and they're trying to assess and then upgrade like whatever like needs to be done, but like they couldn't figure out where the problem is coming from. So there are a lot of issues with the house, and it's just because that given that like the market value is like 400,000, and the other point is the security issues, like the unit that is suggested pre-charge. I bid for it. I went there and I saw it like the neighborhood is safe, decent, the area looks good, but like the one we have like at the Toronto right now, like even when we try to rent like for the tenants and to generate some income, because we are on a 5-year fixed closed mortgage right now with 5.12, we couldn't even supplement like our income and then take over the unit. So we are literally forced like to either just let go this unit or call bankruptcy, because this is like something beyond what we can manage right now, and it's very unsafe and insecure, and we have high tenants turnover. And you can look at like at my like CRA tax report, like so far we had like 4 tenants turnover because the area is unsafe, and then they couldn't occupy the units. So in terms of like the renting income, and then the other unit, as I told you, like we couldn't live in it properly, so we have to shut down that unit and move on like to the other units, because it's no longer livable for us. And the assessment is basically just market oriented only, and that was like because we don't have like that experience at the first time home buyer when we purchased this house. It's just like I want like somebody to just go there and inspect, and they say like it's true, you have to pay this, and then we can just find out something and then walk away from that.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on the birth of your
Thank you so
new child. Mr. Assessor, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions, maybe one or two. So the evidence you presented was just an email from your realtor, is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah, because there's a bunch of pages were kind of like blank and stuff. I wasn't sure if so your realtor provided a value of $320,000 according to the current market.
yes, 330,000, yes.
Um,
And it's the same realtor who assisted us to buy the house.
so
And,
your realtor was in the house with you when you guys were buying the house. Is that correct?
Yes,
And they didn't, your realtor did not tell you about any issues that was there. So the realtor was supposed to be, I guess, be involved and be aware of any issues that would present. Did they tell you about any issues that you saw in the about the house? Basically, did your realtor tell you any issues that they see about the house and advise you not to purchase it?
yes, partly she shared with us, and partly is like because the seller deceive us like most of the things, and that is like part of the legal aspect that I raised there.
And again, like so this is so your realtor provided to my understanding, your realtor provided information and the valuation of the current market, not the reference date, which is April 1st, 2023. Is that how would you say it's accurate?
Yes, she provided like as of like based on like the email that I sent out, like that's like the date of reference. And if you want, like you can like I can just follow up with her and then come up with more information.
And so your realtor did not provide any evidence like comparables. Is that correct?
Usually, like when they just suggest these kinds of property estimates, they just do like the comparables because they have the recent resources as a relator, and that's like what she did, and then she sent out these things. But she said in the email, if there are any further follow-up questions, then she's ready to submit.
Well, did you ask for more comparables of your realtor?
Yes, I did.
Did she provide them to you?
So I have to check some of them back and then get back to you if you want those.
I don't have any further questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I do not think I have lots of good information. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
Yes, and I would just, for my own purposes, like to just follow Arca's questioning of the applicant. So let me make sure I understand this. Shabana Kuzar, who sent this email to you, was a realtor who sold you the house.
Yes,
Okay? And then you asked her for an opinion of her value on the house in July of 2024.
yes,
And then she provided this email to say, as of July 2024, the value should be $320,000. And she meant current market, which it says in her email.
yes, exactly.
Okay, so that's your understanding of all of this.
Yes,
And do you also understand that we're working with a reference date of April 1, 2023, which the assessor has just alluded to?
yes, I'm aware.
Okay. Madam Chair, I don't think I could clarify any further. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread. I just have a question for you. You said that one of the there are two units,
Yes.
correct? You said one of the units is too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter. You had been living in that.
Yes, I'm living in that unit right now.
You're living in that
Yes.
unit right now? Okay, I thought you had said that you had moved out of that unit to.
Yes, so now like we have to evict like the tenants that are like, so we just giving them a notice
Oh, and
and
then,
then moving over there because we can't live in there.
and then what are you gonna do with the unit that you are now in?
So we already like called for the helps of the efficiency Manitoba to come in the assess the units and what's like the problem. So they just doing that, like, and the first assessor like showed up and then they did the assessments, but they couldn't figure out like what's exactly happening. Because like the furnace, they say like it's up to the standard for them, like but like they couldn't figure out the rest of the things. So they say like we're gonna do like we're gonna send someone like from the who knows about heating and some other things. So they will just work on that.
And then after they do their assessment, is it your intention then to upgrade that unit so that it will be?
So it's
Warmer?
basically income qualified program. That's why like we approached Efficiency Manitoba.
Mhm.
So since our income is low, so we qualified for the program. And this is a free energy efficiency upgrading and installation program.
Okay,
So since we qualified based on the income, they just try to support us and then upgrade that unit once they find out the problem.
okay.
Yeah.
Great. So can you tell me what kind of assessment value you think is fair for your property?
Honestly speaking, like I'm not gonna lie, but like so basically like the unit like with the same condition has been like the property tax was like as I said 2,978 before we took over the units, and then after that, if that renovation really happens to be, and then that increment of 330,000 like already effective, and we started to pay like based on that agreement. And then the current like increment is, to our understanding, is like way far from the reality and in the condition of the house. So we believe that like 330 is the proper assessment.
330
Yes,
is what you think,
yes,
the property.
yes.
Okay. Okay,
Madam Chair, sorry, I didn't hear.
yes, Mr. Whitred,
I didn't hear a value.
330,000,
330?
330.
Thank you very much.
Does either the assessor or the applicant wish to provide a summary at this stage?
Well, I'll just quickly summarize that. Again, we are dealing with a reference date of April 1st, 2023. Subject property was sold on MLS for $400,000 with time adjusted value of $380,800. The four comparables I provided appears to support the value. The realtor who was with the property owner selling the property didn't seem to raise any issues of the condition of the property at the time of sale. And therefore, I believe that the market does appear to support the value. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, would you like to summarize your presentation?
So what I was like to say is like just taking like the market value of the house without respecting the conditions and the reality on the ground will give a different picture. And honestly, we are struggling like with the current mortgage, and then it's really hard for us like just to pay like with the current market, and then with the given turnover of tenant, as I told you, if the housing property tax is almost 400 and then we generate like 1,000. Then what are we gonna do? Like, so it's just, yeah. And plus security issues is another thing like for us, and the area is the most unsafe.
You are right near Sargent, are you not?
So it's between like Wellington and Notre Dame on Toronto.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. If there are no further summaries, then I thank you for your presentations, both of you, and we will get back to you, Mr. Applicant, as soon as possible with a written decision.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for your time today. We will now move to the third item on the docket, which is 306 Bowman Avenue, Unit 1.
That's me.
Please affirm the witness of this.
Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Jim Klaus.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you very much. Mr. Assessor, could you please make your presentation on this property?
Okay, item number 3 on the docket. Property located at 306 Bowman Avenue. Its roll number is 02-000-225-000. Property is located in Chalmers neighborhood. It's a two-story fourplex built in 2014. Living area is 2,784 square feet. It has a full basement and a basement finish, 4 full bathrooms, central air conditioner, and for any other amenities, it has none. So it doesn't have fireplace, garages, pools, or sunrooms. Lot size is 3,748 square feet. The property is assessed at $717,000 for 2025 assessment roll, and the value is calculated to be $257.54 per square foot. 4 comparables are comparable number 1, 579 Gateway Road, located in Monroe East neighborhood. It's a bi-level fourplex built in 2019. And the living area is 1,956 square feet with a full basement and a basement finish. It has 4 full bathrooms. No central air conditioner and no for any other amenities. And actually, anything you see below air conditioner is no for subject property as well as any comparables. This comparables lot size is 5,121 square feet and it has a medium traffic influence. This property sold in February of 2020 for $807,000. Time adjusted value is $956,300. Okay, because this property is a fourplex subject property, what I didn't say is like it has 4 units and each unit is a 2-bedroom unit with 1 full bathroom. Comparable number 1 is also 4 2-bedroom units. Because it's bi-level, 2 units are located. A part of the area is in the basement. So and that is not part of the living area. So comparable number 2 is 217 Dolan Avenue in Radisson area. It's a 2-story fourplex built in 2014, 4,504 square feet. It has a full basement and a basement finish, 4 full bathrooms, 8 half bathrooms, and 4 showers. It has central air conditioner. Lot size 5,999 square feet. This property sold in May of 2021 for $1,200,000. Time adjusted value would be $1,328,400. This particular property has 1 3-bedroom suite and 3 2-bedroom ones. Comparable number 4 is 602 Elgin Avenue in the Centennial area. It's a bi-level fourplex built in 2018. Living area is 2,728 square feet with a full basement and a basement finish. It has 4 full bathrooms and central air conditioner. Lot size 5,249 square feet and it has a commercial influence. This property sold in August of 2021 for $810,000. Time adjusted value would be $797,800. Comparable number 4, 160 Furby Street, located in West Broadway. Actually, before I go to comparable 4 has 4-bedroom units. So comparable 3 has 4-bedroom units. Comparable 4, 160 Furby, is a 2-story fourplex built in 2021. All units are 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. This property has a living area of 3,830 square feet and it has surface foundation, so there is no basement. It has 4 full bathrooms and it has central air conditioner. Lot size 4,106 square feet. This property sold in June of 2022 for $1,055,000. Time adjusted value $965,300. And given the comparables, subject property valued at $717,000. The value is supported by the comparables. I'm open to your questions.
Mr. Applicant, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Yeah, I have a question in regards to the 2025 assessment. It states that you're asking for a 15% increase in the assessment from 625 to, what is it, 717, something like that? That's a 15% increase. And I think that's unjustifiable, given that these are rental properties and we're allowed 2% increase. And so we cannot justify such a large increase in this on this 2025 tax bill. Besides the fact that our insurance has gone up and maintenance is there, as he has the review that I sent, right?
I believe he does.
You have the review in front of you?
Madam Chair, this sounds like evidence to me as opposed to questions.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have any questions?
Well, my question was, how does he justify the 15%? We'll start with that one.
Thank
Okay,
you.
well, according to the Municipal Assessment Act, we have to value properties at value. And what does that mean? Is the most reasonable sale price of your property on the reference date. Reference date is April 1st, 2023. So what we have to answer according to the Municipal Assessment Act is what is the most reasonable sale price of your property had you sold it on April 1st, 2023? And comparables suggest that the property similar to yours sell anywhere between $810,000 to $1,200,000, and they're further time adjusted to April 1st, 2023. So is $717,000 supported by the market evidence? It appears that it is.
I should just clarify that we are not responsible for determining taxes. We're just responsible for taking a look at what the assessed value of your
Okay,
property
yeah,
should be.
but the assessed value is there, but you don't really have comparisons in the central south location of Elmwood, which is considerably lower property value, and the houses. The house values are.
And it is assessed lower too.
Pardon me?
And it is also assessed lower than any of the comparables they have provided.
But let's go back to the original. In 2023, it was assessed at $625,000. And now in 2024, it's assessed at $717,000, which is a 15% increase. I'm in the construction business, and that just doesn't really make sense to me.
Mr. Applicant, you're gonna get an opportunity to make a presentation just
Yeah.
in a couple of minutes.
But I still need justification on the 15%, and the fellow, I forget your name,
The
sorry.
assessor.
The assessor, he just says, well, this is what it was assessed at. How did you justify that assessment in that area?
I think,
We're gonna help with that part.
Pardon me?
That's what we don't do. That's our job, is to help look at that ourselves to help you with that, so. He's just presenting his, and you can present your information as soon as you get.
Yeah, yeah. My major thing was
The price.
this
Yeah.
increase.
I hear you.
okay, I'm just gonna give these other two members of the panel to ask questions of the
Yeah.
assessor, and then we're gonna get back to you with your
Good,
presentation,
good,
okay?
thank you, yeah.
Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions of the assessor?
I will ask it in the form of a question, but hopefully it will help the applicant understand the process that the tax department uses. So Arca, if I understand you, your division goes out and polls the city for sales of properties that are comparable to the property the applicant has submitted. And the system gathers the sales of those properties and looks at them and comes up with what you think are valid comparables. It's not you picking them, the system picks those comparables. Is that correct?
Uh, yes and no. So it is possible for system to pick the comparables,
Yeah,
and that's what initially happens during the evaluation process. The model looks at the data available and assigns the value to all of the properties in the city. And when I say all, I mean all. I believe it's well over 200,000 residential properties.
okay.
Uh, and it is done by the computer. When it comes time for manual reviews, that's when assessor can review the property and see if whether comparables are supporting. Is there a better comparables? Is it a good match? And we can also review it manually.
I was going to get to that second part. Thank you for that. But
Okay.
up to that point, it is really system generated. Nobody has said we're imposing a 15% tax increase because it's not really about tax at this point. It's about value.
It is about
And it's,
assessed value, yes.
and it's a real value of properties that have exchanged hands in the city of Winnipeg that are comparable to this gentleman's property. Am I correct?
Correct. So yes, the
Yeah.
system is built using the comparable properties to provide a value to the other properties in the city that would fall under certain criteria and match those particular sales.
Mr. Close, just a yes, no question. Are you with us up to this point?
Yes, yes, I am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Then, RK, you clearly indicated that there's a second step that allows the assessor to do an assessment on his own, more personal review of the property. Did you do that for this property?
The four comparables provided here are, I guess, yes, I had to select them.
You selected them from the evidence, and that's your choice based on your knowledge and training in doing assessments. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So this is a system generated with an ARCA overview on it. Does that make sense? You did an overview and you came up with this value.
Well, I didn't look at, like, the value was $717,000 was I did not come up with that. It was system generated or perhaps have been reviewed by another assessor. I wouldn't know at this point. However, the four comparables that I have selected were selected by me.
And in fact, now my last point is, and basically what you've got here for Mr. Close's property is a total assessment per square foot that is somewhat lower than the comparables that have been provided. Correct? The 257, I don't see, oh, there's a 252 at number 4.
Correct.
Right.
So yeah, so there are certain like comparable number 4 provides value per square foot lower than, for example, subject properties. Other comparables provide value per square foot higher than the subject properties value per square foot. But overall, they are all fourplex infills.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I want to move on to another question I have, which references something you said in your evidence. This is described as a bi-level home.
Yes.
And when you were talking, you said something about suites in the basement. Now,
Yes,
is it a true bi-level with the two, what I consider a true bi-level has the 2 sets of windows and 2 sets of windows, not a basement?
So it's a half basement. Bi-levels have a half basement.
Yes.
So it has a full set of like full-size windows, but about half of it is below grade. I kind of said that a couple of units could be in the basement, but then I had to correct myself because it is possible that similar to what subject property is, which is four units located in four quadrants of the property. So each unit would have access to the lower level and the upper level.
Okay.
So that's where I had to stop and basically do not go any further. So like at this point, I do not have any information of when, and I believe it was for comparable 1 and comparable 3. It is most likely because it's a fourplex that the actually each unit would be would have access to the upper and lower level.
Well, don't speculate. We'll ask Mr. Close when it's his turn to give evidence.
Mhm.
Is that okay?
All right.
We'll come back and ask him about how it's set up. Madam Chair, I have nothing else. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread. Mr. Robinson, any questions?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
I just am wondering, Mr. Assessor, if you could tell me what your best comparison on this list of comparisons you have chosen would be.
All right. So, well, probably if we look at the list of the comparables, what you have is you have comparable 1 and 2 located. The location of comparable 1 and 2 would be east of subject property. Comparable 2 would be far east in the Transcona area. Comparable 2 would be in the East Kildonan area on the gateway. And comparable 3 and 4 would be what we would call city core, right? So like city core areas. So, and they're in Centennial and West Broadway. So what you have is you have a mix of two comparables being what I would say in a more desirable location, comparable 1 and 2, and you can see the values there.
So you think comparison 1 is the best comparison to the subject property, is that what
No,
you're?
no, I didn't say that. And comparable 3 and 4 would be in an inferior location to subject property. Comparable 3 and 4 in an inferior location. Comparable number 4 would be probably one of the closest matches. It's a 2-story, it's a fourplex. It's it has larger square footage, but it doesn't have a basement. Subject property does have a basement to compensate for the difference, so to speak. So I would say comparable number 4 would be one of the better, would be the better comparable.
Okay, thank you. And have you seen this property in person?
I have not.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll turn it over to the applicant now for your presentation.
Yes, well, again, it's in regards to the increase in the property value. From, you assessed it at, the city assessed it at 625 in 2023. And then 717 in 2025, right? Correct?
Correct.
Yes. Why, my question is why is there such an increase in the property value when the property value is not there? And the property value is justified. If you read my subjects that I brought up here, does he have this reasons for review? You have the reasons for review.
Yes.
And if you look at the costs of this property, the property is a rental property. It's not like a residential property, and it can only justify so much property value according to what the expenses are. And my expenses, as you can see, are just cutting it there because our insurance rates are higher than residential rates. Our tax rate is probably higher too because it's taxed on rental properties, not residential properties. Then we have the expenses that we have on it. And when I review everything, for the resale value of this property, it can only justify so much, and no businessman will purchase a property that they can't make a profit on, that they have to feed into. And so I'm asking as a businessman, we need to look at the justification of the assessed property value, even though you have these other properties that you say sold for this and that and that. They're really not close to my location. Gateway Street is far over, and it's a more desirable area, put it that way, to have people purchasing properties and living in properties and charging for rents. Like you can justify some of these other properties, yes, they did sell for more dollars, but did you take a look at their rent rolls, what their rent rolls are, and what the property can justify for someone to buy it? You need to look at that. Because as a landlord, we're in the rental business, and it is a business, and we're supposed to make a profit. So I can't take from some of my other business and put into my properties to make justify it. That doesn't work. Then I might as well just sell them off and get what I can get for them or whatever. But nobody would buy them for some of the prices that you're saying here. Because the rent and the cost of these properties, what it costs me to maintain these properties in good health, is about a break even at this point. You take even the interest rates for a commercial loan. You can get an interest rate for a house at 3.99%. That's an open rate. But my commercial rate that I have to pay is 7%. There's a lot of difference there. So it's all about justification for property value and what somebody will purchase this property for. I don't know how much more I can make it clear, but that's my argument, is
Thank you.
it just doesn't justify.
Thank you very much.
Let's go back to the 625.
Mr. Assessor, do you have any questions of the applicant at all?
No, I do not.
Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions?
No, I'm pretty clear with this position.
Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions?
You said 625.
Yes,
Did I hear you say 525 earlier? Or-
well, no, that's in the review notes. I said I would like to have it at 525, which is
Okay,
maybe not reasonable, but just to make my point.
but that's
I
where
mean,
you, that's
I'm
what you're
satisfied.
asking.
Pardon
That's what
me?
you're asking for, Mr. Klaus. Is
Is what?
525.
Yeah, I'm asking for 525, but I'm satisfied with the 625 if you could justify that.
That's
Because
okay.
I've been paying it already. I've been paying it for years, eh? You know,
Okay, so I see the numbers and I understand what you're saying is that would drop your property taxes somewhat. It's not gonna be a huge amount, but it would allow you to break even.
yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread.
Yeah, I think we've got it.
I just want to clarify one thing, and that is that I believe the assessor has based his evidence on sales prior to April 1st, 2023, which is the reference date. So there are properties that are selling for these prices in the comparisons that he has put forward. Those are not assessments, those are sales he's basing it
Can I
on.
answer that?
Certainly,
But has he checked the rent rolls and what their taxes are and what their insurance is? Like on these other properties that sold for this price? I know what mine are. But I don't know, the one on Gateway, they probably are charging, I'm charging for one of these properties here, $12.50 a month. And that's all that my tenants can afford. If I go more than that, it'll stay empty. Over on Gateway, they're charging $16.50. You know, that's $400 a month per unit, and if you got a 4-unit, that's $1,600 extra a month. You multiply that by 12, you got, you know, an extra $15,000 you can play with, and landlords look at that.
Thank you.
We're in business for profit. If we
Understood.
can. But you know the problem with the rental market out there right now, and
Understood.
yeah,
Uh,
city of Winnipeg needs rental properties.
absolutely. Does the assessor have a summary you would like to provide?
Yes, I would like to provide a quick summary. Again, so with the information presented, subject property is a fourplex, and what we try to establish here is a most reasonable sale price of subject property on April 1st, 2023. I have provided four comparables that show the actual sales of properties, similar fourplexes. Some are in superior location, as I have stated, other are in inferior locations. From what I understand, the applicant is relying on income, and yes, on the rental properties, income is something that is reviewed upon sale. However, there is one clear difference. When you're talking about true income generating property, which is larger apartment buildings, the income approach is more accurate there. When you come to a 4-unit properties, it is possible, but the accuracy is not quite there, because now you have market participants who are not only investors, but also perhaps occupiers who want to live in one unit and rent out the other ones. So that's where the margins seem to be smeared. And because this property is a fourplex, only 4 units, it's on a smaller scale building where income approach is not extremely accurate. And you also have to look at market comparables, what similar properties have sold for. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Mr. Applicant, any summary at all?
Yeah, well, I believe we just went over the same thing we just went over.
Okay.
That nothing is clear, like, we're no clearer.
So you have nothing to add to your,
No,
okay, well, thank you very much for your time today.
yeah.
We'll
thank
get
you.
back to you with a written decision just as soon as we
Great.
possibly can.
Great,
Thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
And I'll be off.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, may we take a break, 5-minute break?
Could we take a 5-minute break? please?
Yes.
Maybe we can shut things down.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. We will now continue with the docket. So I understand we're on number 4, which is 498 Manitoba Avenue, Unit 1. And could you please affirm the,
Yes, Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Bottom line.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may be seated.
thank you. Now, I understand that we have late evidence in this particular case. So we're gonna have to kick you out for a moment, I'm sorry, so that we can decide if we're gonna hear the evidence or not.
Sure.
You might be doing that a few times during the hearing, because I understand you have late evidence for several of the properties.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we have decided for number 4, 498 Manitoba Avenue, Unit 1, that although your evidence was late, we will accept that.
Thank you.
And we will now turn it over to the assessor, please, for a high-level summary of that particular property.
Madam Chair, if I can offer, so I don't think we meant for a high level at this point. Arca, we talked about your comparators, they're all the same. And I think we wanted to do a detail on number 1, Madam Chair, and then a high level on the next 5. Sorry to interrupt with that, but That's what I thought we
Okay,
agreed.
Mr. Assessor, please make your presentation on 498 Manitoba Avenue, Unit 1.
It's not hearing us. I don't think
Are you on mute, Mr. Assessor? Can you hear us? Oh, he can't hear us.
Can't hear us?
I believe Mr. Whitbread can hear us, is that correct?
I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay. Then it seems it may be an issue on the assessors.
Wi-Fi.
He's on mute.
No, it does not appear that way, but I will just remove this thing to reconnect.
His feed looks live to me.
Thank you. Okay, let's try that again, Mr. Assessor. If I could get your assessment of number 4 on the docket, 498 Manitoba Avenue, Unit 1.
Madam Chair, before we begin with this, if I wanted to, I guess, bring some things forward. This is not a preliminary issue. It is my understanding that items 3 to 9 on the docket are gonna be with the same applicant. And
I
what
believe it's item 4 to 9.
yeah, item 4 to 9, correct.
Yeah.
And also, I have used the same comparables on the remaining items.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Subject properties in for the remaining items are basically the same building type, 3,000 square foot building, built in slightly different years in slightly different location of William White. Other than that, everything else seems to be equal. I am okay with presenting just one case, discussing one item, and applying the same value across the board to save time. If that works with applicant and the panel, I would be fine with that.
Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Mr. Applicant, how do you feel about
Yeah,
that?
that's fine, it's all the same one, just the other one a little bit older now, 10 years, some of them 7 years.
And you have presented the same evidence for each of the properties as well, I
Right,
understand.
right, like the one we talking now, 498, it's newer. 2 years old, but the other one is 10 years old, maybe down 2015 or 2016.
So if we have one presentation by the assessor of all of his comparables, and read out the roll number for each of the properties, and then give you an opportunity to present your evidence for the properties, then maybe we can just do a very high-level summary of the evidence for each of the others. Are we both agreed on
Yeah,
that?
that's fine.
Mr. Assessor, are you agreed on that?
Yes, I just wanted to clarify that I don't think I've received any evidence from the applicant. So there was none submitted.
We're just gonna check on that.
Okay.
I know it was late and we,
Oh.
okay, it's going to be sent to you right away. It was submitted late and we did recess to consider whether we would be accepting the evidence. And we decided that we would accept the evidence. So you're going to be receiving it from the secretary right now. And maybe while you are waiting to receive it, we could have you start on item 4. I think if you give us the synopsis of your comparisons for item 4, then those are the comparisons we will use for the other properties as well.
Before,
Are the
yeah,
board members in agreement with that?
Madam
Oh.
Chair, before you go on, I think I heard the assessor make one additional comment. If you look at all of his evaluations of the 5 subject properties, they're identical. And he would suggest he would just do one presentation on the subject property. Have I got that right, Arca?
Well, one presentation for all the remaining items on the docket, because they're essentially the same building, built with some age variation, but same building, side by side. Yeah, the only thing, like, if before I begin, if we can take, like, I would like to see if evidence presented, if it is something that I can digest within a couple of minutes given, because normally it would have been, I would have needed some time to review it,
Arca,
and it wasn't provided to me.
the evidence I've got is 5 lines of evidence. Is that correct, Madam Chair?
It is indeed, and I think that it might be worthwhile for us to send it to the assessor.
It's been.
Okay, and if we give him 5 minutes to review it at this stage of the game, because he has not received it yet. So if we could take a break for
Sure.
5 minutes to allow the assessor to review it, I think that that will probably be more than enough time for you to take a look at it. Thank you. All right, we are going to turn it over to the assessor to give presentation on 498 Manitoba Avenue, which is number 4 on the docket. And again, I'd like to reiterate, we have the same comparables for number 4 to number 9, but the applicant has presented information only for number 4 to number 8. So we will hear your evidence, Mr. Assessor, for number 4, and then proceed.
Okay. Well, thank you. So, yes, it is number 4, right? Number 4 is 498 Manitoba. Okay, so subject property is 498 Manitoba Avenue. Roll number 1402052650. It's a 2-story side by side, built in 2021. Has 3,000 square feet of living area, full basement and the basement finish. 2 full bathrooms, 4 half bathrooms and 2 showers. No central air conditioner, and no fireplaces, no garages, no in-ground pool, and no sunroom. Lot size 3,547 square feet. Assessed value is $454,000. Yeah, and the subject property is located in William White area. Some comparable one is 418 Lansdowne Avenue in St. John's area. It's 2-story duplex built in 2019. It's 2,204 square feet of living area, full basement and the basement finish. 3 full bathrooms. It has central air conditioner and no for any other amenities. It doesn't have fireplace and no attached garage, no detached garage, no in-ground pool, and no sunroom. And actually, that would be the case. Similar case would be for properties, except for comparable number 2 that has fireplace. All of the other comparables would not have any amenities such as garages, in-ground pools, and sunrooms or fireplaces. So comparable number 1 was sold in April of 2020 for $485,619. Time adjusted value is for $542,000. Next comparable is located at 742 Burroughs Avenue in William White area. It's a 2-story secondary unit building. It has 1,370 square feet, built in 2021. It has full basement and the basement finish. 3 full bathrooms and one half bath. And it has a fireplace. Lot size 2,463 square feet, and it has a light traffic. This property sold in March of 2022 for $374,935. Time adjusted value is $350,900. Comparable number 3, 379 Manitoba Avenue in William White area. It's a bi-level building type. It's a duplex built in 2018. Size of the property is 1,104 square feet. It has a full basement and a basement finish with 2 full bathrooms. It has central air conditioner. Lot size 3,561 square feet. This property sold in June of 2022 for $375,000. Time adjusted value is $343,100. And comparable number 4 is 611 Minto Street, located in Minto area. It's a 2-story side-by-side built in 2021. 1,898 square feet. It has full basement and doesn't have basement finish, 2 full bathrooms and 2 half bathrooms, and it has central air conditioner. Lot size is 1,902 square feet. This property sold in January of 2022 for $490,000. Time adjusted value would be $465,500. Now, what is subject property? Subject property is a side-by-side, so it has 2 dwelling units. And let me just, okay. And the unit mixed is, it has 2 3-bedroom units with 2 full bathrooms and sorry. Okay, so it has 2 3-bedroom units, and it has 1 full bathroom and 2 half bathroom in each of the units. All right, now we are going to comparable 1 has 3 is a 3-bedroom unit similar to subject property, so it has 2 3-bedroom units. Comparable number 2 has a 3-bedroom and a 2-bedroom unit. Comparable number 3 has 3-bedroom units similar to subject property, and comparable number 4 also has 3-bedroom units similar to subject property. Now, what you notice here is all of the comparables are smaller than subject property. Subject property is 3,000 square feet, and it's larger than all of the subject properties. Comparable number 4 is located in a superior area. Minto would be considered a superior neighborhood to William White. However, it's a smaller house on a small lot. Comparable 2 and 3 are in the same area as a subject property. Comparable 3 is on the same street as a subject property. They are smaller properties and they have sold at time adjusted sale price would be $350,000 and $343,000 and roughly $256 per square foot and $310 per square foot. And comparable 1 is in St. John area. Again, it's not in William White. It's slightly north of it. However, it is a larger comparable. That's why I put it in the mix. So with that, those are the comparables that I've listed, and they would be applicable. They will be the same comparables for the remaining items on the docket. And I'm open to your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Mr. Applicant, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Did you see the house?
I would assume you're referring to your subject property. No, I did not inspect the subject property.
Did you drive by the house?
I did not.
That's all I have.
Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just wondering, I'm looking at this and I'm trying to get my head around it, Arca. You're $100 a square foot lower on the subject property. It's a bigger property, but it's not big enough that the scale would allow for $100 difference. Is it an inferior build? Do you know what caused this?
Honest, like I see what you mean. That it is a smaller, like it's a larger property, so there is it does appear like a large jump in square footage, but it also a relatively large jump in price per square foot between comparable 2 and 3, right? So even though it is they are like they are like 200 square feet apart, but there is also like 256 and 310. So it does appear that the range jump, like the per economies of scale, it seems like there is a significant jumps when it comes to the square footage, because it is I guess it's those properties are how would I explain it? I guess the value overall is not quite there, right? So that's probably why it is. And yes, it is $151 per square foot, but like the question would be like, is $454,000 a proper assessment for this property? Would this property sell for that kind of money on April 1st, 2023? It's a newer house, so it would have been only 2 years old on the reference date. We have two smaller houses selling for 374 and 375, and time adjusted around $350,000. So that's I guess where I would say that the value is supported because of smaller houses generating selling for that kind of, like, for, yes, it is less, but still given they are smaller, like larger house would generate be getting slightly more money.
But I'm looking at comp 3, 1,100 square feet, comp 2, 1,300 square feet, 3 times as much almost in terms of square footage.
Yes.
And we're comfortable that the numbers are right, yes?
Numbers are correct.
Okay. You see my wonderment though? An 1,100 square foot house selling for
$375,000, right?
well, and $300 a foot versus 151.
Yes.
You're not explaining it to my satisfaction, and that's not a negative, Arca. That's not a negative. I'm not getting it. But if those are your numbers and you're comfortable with your numbers, I accept it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other questions, Mr. Whitbread?
I have no other questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions?
Not at this time, no.
And my questions have been asked and answered. Thank you. So I will turn it over to the applicant for his presentation, please.
Well, the reason I'm here, market value, and I build those houses. I got example, let's talk Manitoba, 498, I pay 40,000 per month. I build them, it cost me 250. That's my value. Now it's rented, it's been used, and the area is not supposed. There is no way to get 400 value in that house because the area, security. I changed 3 times window. People in San Buenos, they don't change it in 20 years one window because the area. People go walking on the sidewalk, this road store. So there is no. That's why we try to say, because if you build this big house, I build them to keep them. Like if we say, example, I'm renting them for 1,100, now. And the tenant's not the best tenant. Somebody pay you 5 bedroom, 1,500 square feet, 1,100. And it's not going to be the best tenant. If I rent them 16, I'm not going to find tenant. That's why we're suffering, really. But real value, there's no comparable. I see those one they sold, they very lucky. And St. John is way better neighborhood than William White. So the case is great potential idea. I wouldn't know more than you guys, but that's all I can put it here. And every year I come do the appeal. It's not nice. Every year I come. The same thing because I have the property, I build them, I have the tenant. What kind of tenant I have? The tenant leave 9 months because twice they broke the window. The second time they back up and go. Find another one the same, but the property is big. And the area is not supported. So I don't know how we're gonna do it, but should be decreased.
Is that your presentation?
Yeah, and the sale, I put on the market, nobody buy. You know, there is no way to get 400. And it wasn't the market, you know. Wasn't the market, I list them. But we never even get phone call. For 498 on Manitoba, we listed for 350. We never even call one call. So that's what my message would pass.
Thank you. Mr. Assessor, do you have any questions of the applicant?
Yeah, just were you able to provide like a bit? I see you provided I guess your presentation or your evidence in the form of what your value, what you think the value should be for each of the properties, but did you provide any support in sales to support it?
There is no sale. I look everywhere. There is no sale. My neighbor sell for 50,000. House rented, they sell it for 60,000. So how are we gonna compare 300 for 50? And it's Manitoba Avenue, we're talking Preacher Avenue. Like hit and run, you know, we can find one, but there is no way to be that value.
Okay. So you say you listed 498 Manitoba Avenue, correct?
Yes,
When was the last time you listed it?
I listed, I think 2021
What was your asking price?
was, I think 350. And he never even get phone call. It was Century 21 listed.
Did you list it through MLS and did your
Yes, I
realtor
did.
your realtor price it at 585?
He listed.
Yeah, I just looked it up and your realtor seemed to price it at $585,000.
Well, yeah, that's why he started up and he started going, but he never even get one phone call. That's why realtors they do, oh, now we can get this one just to keep them listed.
But you didn't ask for 350, correct?
Hmm?
It was never listed for 350, correct?
I don't know, we reduce it. We reduce it. But I don't remember it was in the market, I think, for 3 months.
No.
And there is no, like now in Manitoba, my neighbor, he sold it for 120. Triplex. He made more than me.
Well, again,
I compare with him. Hmm?
well, if he sold it, and why didn't you bring it up as an evidence, right?
Yeah, no. Well, that's why I look, actually, I give up. There is no evidence. I was here last year. I was here before it, the same property. Like I'm trying to make some acceptance.
Yeah. No. And comparable 3 that I provided, it is on Manitoba Avenue, correct?
Right.
Yeah. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Mr. Robinson, any questions?
Just a curiosity one. Your property. 498 Manitoba. The living area is 3,000 square feet. The assessed lot size is 3,547 square feet. It must be like is it right on the street?
No, it's
There's a wrong number there or?
no, it's not wrong. It's side by side.
Oh, so,
Yeah, it's 750,
Okay.
750. There is basement,
okay, yeah,
finished basement.
yeah. 'Cause
That's-
the other ones are just so much smaller that it just sticks out. I get it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Whitbread, any questions of the applicant?
I have none. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread. And I have none. So I am thinking that we should move on to the next property unless there is a summary that either of you would like to make prior to moving on to the next property.
Well, I can summarize it now or perhaps later after we are done. It depends how the board panel would like to proceed with that.
I am fine with the summary at the end if the other board members agree.
I agree.
Yes.
And Mr. Applicant, do you
Yes,
agree?
yes.
Okay, so let's move on to the next property then, which is number 586 Manitoba Avenue, Unit 1.
Okay, and before I proceed, I'll the comparables that I've read would I wouldn't have to repeat reading them, right? Basically, I'll just read the subject property and apply the comparables that were provided. Would that be appropriate?
Yes, please read the roll number into the record.
So roll number is 14020565000. Street address is 586 Manitoba Avenue. Property is located in William White area. It's a two-story side-by-side built in 2018. It's a 3,000 square feet property house with a full basement and the basement finish. It has 4 full bathrooms and 2 half bathrooms. Lot size 3,548 square feet. Land influence is commercial adjacent. 2025 assessed value is $454,000. And for comparables would be the same comparables that have been provided earlier for item number 4 on the docket. And I'm open to your questions.
Mr. Applicant, do you have any further questions of the assessor?
No, it's the same, all of them the same, just we pass through, it will be better.
I just want to give you an opportunity to ask any questions you might have. Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions?
I have none, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Robinson?
I have none. Thank you.
And I have none. So we will continue on to the next property.
Okay, item number 6, I believe it is. So 654 Manitoba Avenue. Roll number 14100125720. Property is located in William White area. It is a two-story side-by-side, built in 2017. Living area is 3,000 square feet. It has a full basement and a basement finish. 4 full bathrooms and 2 half bathrooms. It has central air conditioner. Lot size 3,550 square feet, and the land influences are external corner. 2025 assessment roll is $454,000. And the comparables are the same comparables that were provided for item number 4 on the docket. I'm open to your questions.
Mr. Applicant, do you have any questions?
The same one, this one a little older, 10 years old, but the same.
Mr. Robinson?
No, I'm fine so far.
Mr. Whitbread?
I just want to clarify something, if you don't mind, Madam Chair.
Absolutely.
It says that this house was built in 2018. Do I have that right? It's a new build?
2018, I built the brand new, yes.
The item number 6 was built in 2017.
Yes.
No, number
Item
5,
number 5 was built in 2018.
2018.
Yes.
Okay. And are we going to ask for evidence from the applicant, Madam Chair? Or can I ask now?
We asked for evidence from the applicant, and we have no further evidence. I don't think that the applicant wants to present. But I just want to make sure, Mr. Whitbread, that you are looking at item 6 because it was built in 2017.
No, I'm looking at item 5. Are we not on item 5?
We finished item 5, I believe, and we moved on to item 6.
654 Manitoba,
Sorry?
654 Manitoba.
Sorry, I thought, I missed something here. Okay, well, this question is the same, built in 2019, and it's even more poignant. The evidence provided by the applicant, bear with me, 654 Magnus. Or 654 Manitoba Avenue,
2015.
needs a lot of work.
Yeah, it is 10 years
Built
old.
5-year-old home.
No,
Sorry,
654 Manitoba. It built 2015.
2017. is what-
2017?
Well, that is what the assessor is
Yeah,
saying.
no, 2015 is built. 2015, 2016. The permit is closed 2017.
sorry, 2017, it's according to the assessor.
Yeah, the permit is closed, but no, I built 2015. And the house, I have tenants, they damage a lot of house, you need work. That's why I brought it down.
Okay, the assessor's information indicates that it was sold in 2015.
No, I never sold it. I never sold it.
Perhaps you bought it in 2015?
I bought it, yeah.
March 18th, 2015.
Yes.
$40,000 is the subject
Yes,
sale.
yes.
And then it says that it was built in 2017.
I think the permit closed 2017, but I built it right away in 17. In 15, I started the permit. Because the city, they don't give you permit until you have plan demolition. So I started building in 15, it finished 16, but the permit we closed it 17, that's why we got this permission. Sometimes it take, we have 2 years to close the permit.
In any event, so the permit closed in 2017.
Yes,
And your question, Mr. Whitbread, was
Yeah,
about,
let's say,
Age?
Madam Chair, it was built in 2017. It's
Okay.
only 8 years old.
yep,
Apparently, the applicant believes it needs a lot of work. My
yes.
question to you is, how much would be required to bring it up to market value in your mind?
I need new kitchen.
I don't need the details. Tell me the number of dollars you think it needs.
At least, well, we're working on maybe at least about 25 to 30,000 to be,
It needs that much.
yes, the same was.
Thank you, sir.
That's
That's all. That's all I needed. Sorry for the confusion, Madam Chair.
no problem. Okay, now where was I? Had I asked you, Mr. Robinson, if you had any questions about 654 Manitoba?
You didn't, and I will answer, and I do not.
Okay, thank you. So could I ask you, the assessor has indicated that he thinks that the value should be 454,000. What do you think the value should be?
351, it's okay for that property.
351?
Yes, it's in the corner. And it's being used, as I said, 8 years, 9 years, and the worst tenant.
Yeah, that's in your
Okay.
evidence.
Can we move on? Mr. Assessor, you're fine with providing your summary at the end?
Yes.
Okay. So let's move on to number 7 then, which is 656 Manitoba, Unit 1.
Okay.
Mr. Assessor, if you'd like to make a very high level presentation.
Okay, so subject property is roll number 14100125725, located at 656 Manitoba Avenue. It's in William White area. It's a 2-story side by side, built in 2019. Living area is 3,000 square feet. It has a full basement and the basement finish, 4 full bathrooms, 2 half bathrooms, and it has central air conditioner. Lot size 3,547 square feet. And 2025 assessed value is $498,000. And for the 4 comparables, I am still using the same comparables that were presented in item number 4 of the docket.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, do you have any questions of the assessor?
No,
Mr. Whitbread?
No.
Mr. Robinson?
No questions.
And I have no questions. Would you like him to make a presentation, Mr. Applicant? No? Okay, so then, we will move on to subject property 8, which is 348 Magnus Avenue. Mr. Assessor?
Okay, subject property located at 348 Magnus Avenue, roll number 1402-0047-000. It's a two-story side-by-side built in 2016 with 3,000 square feet of living area, full basement and a basement finish. 4 full bathrooms and 2 half bathrooms. It has central air conditioner. Lot size 3,562 square feet and it has external corner influence. 2025 assessed value is $454,000. The 4 comparables are the same as were presented for item number 4 on the docket. Thank you very much.
Mr. Applicant, do you have questions of the assessor?
no.
No?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that
Yeah.
you were thinking and I was waiting. Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions of the assessor?
I have none, thank you.
Mr. Watson?
I have none.
I just have one, and that would be, what do you think a fair assessment for this property would be?
This 375, 355 around us, cause the property again, it's 8 years old. And been used, not the best tenant.
And this one was built in 2016?
Yes,
Okay, thank
and
you.
the rent is very low, 1,100.
Okay. I think that perhaps at this stage of the game, the assessor should provide his summary and the applicant should provide his summary. Because for number 9, we do not have any evidence from the applicant.
This is your properties assist.
Yeah.
Yes, they're all, okay. So I think that Mr. Assessor, if you would like to provide your summary at this stage of the game, and
Mhm.
if the applicant has a summary, we will listen to that summary before we move on to number 9, because we do not have any evidence from the applicant for number 9.
Sounds good. So, I guess to summarize, we'll start with item number 4 on the docket. So it's a side-by-side located in a William White neighborhood. It's a 2-story side-by-side built in 2021. And it's a larger side-by-side, and the sales within the William White neighborhood, in my opinion, would be the best sales. And so that would be comparable to uncomparable number 3. They're much smaller in size properties that have sold for $350,000 time adjusted and $343,000 time adjusted. And when you move to comparable number 1, it's a larger property. Now the sale price there is $485,000. So we can see the larger properties seem to have do sell for larger dollar value, and therefore subject property being largest of all of the comparables, assessed at $454,000. The assessed value is supported there. I believe the same summary would go for the rest of them. that what we have is we have a trend where larger properties do sell for more money. Sales in there are sales in William White area. There are smaller properties, and subject property assessment for number 5. Number 5 item on the docket, 586 Manitoba Avenue at 454 is also supported. Item number 6, same reasoning as provided before. Value would be supported. We have, I guess, we do have 2017 year built on the record, and for all, like, applicant does say that it is 2015 or 2016. So, so even taking into consideration that it may be 2015 or 2016 building, it is still would be supported by the sales, in my opinion. Item number 7, again, same logic applies. We do have sales to support the assessed value, and for the $498,000 would be supported by comparables. And item number 8 is also supported by comparables in William White neighborhood and in comparable number 1, because it's time adjusted value for that one is much higher, but adjusting for the neighborhood, the value would be supported. Thank you very much.
I just have one question, and I noticed for the comparables that all of the time adjusted sale prices for the properties, with the exception of Lansdowne, are down from the sale price,
Yes.
and Lansdowne is up.
Yes. Again, yeah, I can explain that. It's the timing of the sale. When you have 2 reference period, let's say April 1st, 2021 and April 1st, 2023. Anything that sold before summer of 2021 sold at a lower price than the reference date, and anything, so there was a dip in the market where prices went from summer of 2021. The prices, sale prices of the properties saw a dip towards the 2023 reference date, versus there were still significant appreciation before that. So it sold in 2020, that's why it is adjusted upwards.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, do you have a summary for items 4 to 8?
Excuse me, Madam Chair, can we ask questions first?
Do you have a
Okay.
question, Mr. Whitbread? We were just on the summaries. I popped a question in there. Do you have a question?
I do have a question.
Okay, please proceed.
So we're looking at this whole docket, sir, and we have 6 properties. They're built at separate addresses, although fairly close in proximity to each of the other. Manitoba Avenue has a few of them. They're all 3,000 square feet. They're all $454,000. Can you tell me, did the applicant build all 6 of these properties?
Yes,
You did? Oh, sorry. Okay.
I did.
And did you may answer, Mr. Applicant, did you have a template that you used, a set of architectural plans so that these homes are identical?
Yes, that's why reason I built. I use the same plan to save Nicholas and Dime. Same stuff, the same area actually, but the value is 400 is all outright. That's way out.
Yeah. So
It's
I've never
different
seen,
years.
Different use.
I have never seen this before, where we have 3,000 square feet, $151.33 a foot for $454. But if you use the same template, I can understand the assessor coming to those conclusions, or the system coming to those conclusions, unless there's something else that would say this is kind of a different transaction in my experience. Mr. Assessor, can you comment?
Well, it is, I guess, yeah, it is, to my recollection, it was the same building plan that applicant used, or very similar building plans anyways for all of those properties.
Mhm.
With the exception of year built, they are all in the same neighborhood. That's why we treated them the same. What I did notice is item number 7 on the docket has different assessed value. It's actually 498
Yeah.
versus 454. Wouldn't know exactly why it is. I believe that 454 would be appropriate across the board. So for item number 7, if my recommendation would be to I guess use $454,000 as a assessed value.
Okay, I hear you. You can see my wonderment at 5 properties in different homes, all being evaluated exactly the same. No?
Okay, we're going to move on, and we have one final property that we have to consider because
What the others, that's mine?
number 9, because there was no evidence, I understand, submitted for number 9, is that correct?
Which other is one?
Okay, 555
Oh,
Pritchard.
Pritchard. Oh, I don't know how I missed that.
Unit 1.
Yeah. The same property.
So I will turn it over to the assessor to read that into the record, please, and make your presentation at very high level.
All right, so subject property is 555 Pritchard Avenue, roll number 14020805000, located at William White area. It's a 2-story side-by-side built in 2018 with a 3,000 square feet living area, full basement, basement finish, 4 full baths and 2 half baths. It has central air conditioner. Lot size 3,548 square feet. Assessed value is $454,000. And for the comparables, I'm applying the same comparables and the same reasoning as was presented in item number 4 of this docket. And I'm open to your questions.
Mr. Applicant, do you have any questions of the assessor?
Yeah, I only have the same, the question I have, Mr. Arun's. Great explanation. All build different years, all cost different. We should use a value, my cost build, because I build them, I know the cost. Why I build them? Because to save them. Like I pay 40 as a businessman, I build it, but if I get 450 is good, but there is no 450, there is no 400. So you coming from, you telling me in St. John and Fairview, another, it's not even close to my area. Like I'm trying to explain, it should be normal. How much it cost me, it was built. We should stay there for now. Okay, I sold it, yes. I'm happy to use that value, but I don't think so we get that much. So I hope you get my point.
Mr. Robinson, do you have any questions?
Not at this time, no.
Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions?
I have none, Madam Chair, thanks.
I just have one question, and that is, you have indicated that all of the properties from property number 4 to property number 9 on the docket are built using the same formula.
Yes,
Okay, but, and I noticed that all of the properties with the exception of one are assessed at $454,000. But I also note that they are built in different years.
yes. Well, different years, different codes, permit change over years, of course.
So I am wondering what you think fair prices would be, fair assessments would be on these properties.
To help us move it, yes.
So let us start with number 4 then.
Okay,
Okay.
was.
Number 4 is 498 Manitoba Avenue, Unit 1.
I think 401 is better value,
Do you think 401 is fair?
fair value, yeah.
Is that what they almost, is that in sensitive prices of the state? In his evidence, we know.
Yeah, we have his evidence, Madam Chair.
Okay.
on his one-page document.
There.
It gives all his values.
I see 5 of them.
Yeah, the last one is,
The Pritchard one,
I don't see Pritchard.
it's
yeah.
not there. No, it's not there. You'd have to
I
ask
see
him.
it's not there.
Right.
I can.
Okay.
Okay, that's all right.
So then for Pritchard, which was built in
2018.
2018.
The value can say 375, 380.
Okay. And does anybody have any summary that they would like to offer at this stage of the game?
I
Mr.
guess,
Assessor?
yeah, I'll just, if it will be, I'll do a quick summary for this particular item. Again, like, just to state that as a department, we have to assess properties at value, and that is what is the most reasonable sale price of the property on the reference date. Property owner asks for cost, and also cost approach to value sometimes is utilized. There is a lot of factors that are going into that. For the purposes of this particular property type, we as a department use a market approach to value and using comparable sales. And it appears to be that comparable sales support the value and provide proof of the most probable sale price of the subject property, which is $454,000. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Assessor. Any summary?
No, really, but 455 is way high.
Thank you.
It's Pritchard Avenue, I don't know. You will know more than me, but there is no such much value, seriously.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentations. Having listened to all the items on the docket today, I will call this meeting to a close. And we will get back to you as soon as possible with a decision on these properties.
Well, thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, thank you.
See you next time, Marco.
Yep. See you next time. Have a good day.